Hello, everyone! Today we're going to discuss a crucial idea that could change the way you attract women forever, especially if you're experienced in life. And the best part? It has nothing to do with your bank balance. It has nothing to do with your looks. And it certainly has nothing to do with those cliche phrases circulating online. In fact, there are two simple words that can stir something deep within a woman's mind, something that creates an emotional connection most men are unaware of. Today, I will explain in detail the meaning of these words, the scientific principles upon which they are based, and why they are effective. But there is one detail that most men overlook, a small detail that is almost imperceptible. This detail is what makes the difference between men whom a woman forgets instantly and men she can't stop thinking about for days. Read on to the end, because this information will fundamentally change the way you communicate. An analysis of the reasons behind the failure of traditional romantic relationships. I have studied the dynamics of sexual relationships for years, observing thousands of relationships, from first dates to long-term marriages. Do you know what I've realized? The most attractive men aren't necessarily the richest or the most well-proportioned. They're men who excel at one thing: direct emotional connection. While most men go around in circles, engaging in boring conversations about the weather or work and trying hard to be polite so as not to offend anyone, the truly exceptional men do something entirely different. They use two words that form the two main points in the woman's paragraph. Our brains are programmed to respond to certain types of communication by releasing neurotransmitters. When used correctly, these two words form what we call in psychology a positive emotional bond. The first word is the power of intention. I want. The first word, or rather the first phrase, is I want. Sounds very simple, doesn't it? But listen carefully to what happens when a man says I want. He is taking on a huge responsibility. He is accepting the responsibility of having his needs met. He doesn't ask permission. He doesn't hesitate to seek opinions to see if his viewpoint is acceptable. He's straightforward. Two signs of leadership. Here's a secret from female psychology. Women are instinctively drawn to men who know what they want. Why? Because it demonstrates leadership. This shows your ability to make decisions and not burden yourself with the choice. Think about this with me. What do you mean when you say, I don't know, maybe we can do something later? You are expressing uncertainty. You're talking about a fear of rejection. You're talking about losing your purpose. You sound like you're just passing through life. Now compare that to this sentence. I want to invite you to dinner on Saturday. I know a good place. Do you see the difference? You're not begging, you're leading. It's about creating experiences. And don't get me wrong, it's not about aggression or stubbornness, nor is it about assertiveness. It's about having the courage to take your place in the world and say, this is what I want. When you do that, you activate what we call sexual politics in a woman's mind. You present yourself as a masculine force in control. This naturally awakens her feminine side, which desires to be called upon and led. A man who can say I radiates a calmness that reassures and excites women simultaneously. Deb and Ben, second word, I appreciate the depth of your compliment. Now we come to the second word, the one that changes everything. I think you need to pay close attention to it now because it's what makes the real difference. If you only use the phrase, I want, you might come across as selfish or even needy. It might seem like you're just trying to get something for yourself from this relationship. But when you combine I want and thank you, you create a perfect emotional balance. This shows that you are a practical person, yet at the same time, someone with emotional depth and deep understanding. Let me give you a practical example. Imagine you are talking to a woman you find attractive. Instead of saying, I want to see you again, you would say, I want to see you again because I truly appreciate the way you think. The depth of our conversations these days is rare. Do you realize what's going on? You've expressed your interest in him. I love him. You've shown that you truly see him, that you value him as a person, and that you understand his worth. I appreciate that. My darling is unbearable. Why? Because most men only compliment women on their looks. They focus solely on their outward beauty. But you go beyond that. You know what's most important. When you truly appreciate someone, you don't come across as needy. You come across as the man you favor. You don't need her to feel complete, but you choose her because you recognize her worth. Women can tell this difference from afar. It's the difference between a starving man begging for bread and a connoisseur enjoying delicious food. It's the fatal flaw, the trap of consistency. Now we must address the detail I mentioned at the beginning. One mistake can ruin everything. This mistake is called inconsistency. What is inconsistency? It's when your words, tone of voice, and body language don't match. If you say, "I want to invite you to dinner," but your shoulders are slumped, you're looking at the ground, and your voice trembles slightly with fear, the message won't get through. Your body is screaming, "I'm scared." Your words are trying to sound confident. A woman's mind is a highly sensitive machine for detecting emotional inconsistencies. It's wired to perceive inconsistencies as a threat, or at least a weakness. The solution? Be confident when you say yes. Look at her gaze. Make eye contact with her for a moment longer than you might feel comfortable with an insecure man. Your chest should be open. I think you should speak slowly. Slow down. Make your words clear. Let your sincerity shine through in your voice. Typically, stoic precision is used instead of performance. A stoic man knows he can't control a woman's reaction, but he can control how he presents himself. He is completely honest with himself and those around him. When you use these words, don't use them as a trick to seduce her. Use it because it's genuine. You truly see it. You truly value it. This honesty is what gives your words weight. Insincere words are like empty vessels, hollow, but sincere words have impact and attract people. Let go of your shyness. It's time. When should you use these words? Of course, you don't have to say, "I love you" and "thank you" automatically in every sentence. That would be awkward and make you sound like a choir master. Use them wisely when you want to set a goal, for example, at the end of a private meeting. When the tension reaches its peak, look directly at her and say, "I really want to do this again. I truly appreciate the energy you radiate." In that moment, you will have established a strong emotional bond. Every time she thinks of you in the future, she will remember that feeling, the feeling of being wanted, appreciated, and admired immediately. In short, be a man of stature. These two words are not just words, but express your masculine maturity and indicate that you are not afraid of your desires and that you have the ability to recognize and express the beauty in others. If you want to delve deeper into this subject and if you want to learn how to improve not just your words but your entire life, then my book, The Secrets of Attraction, is what you need. In it, I will show you how to build a powerful force that makes words secondary. That's what you need to do today. Think about how many times you hid your desires behind phrases like "maybe" and "if you want" this past week. Next time, decide to be clear about what you want and value in the other person. If you liked this content, click like. It shows you're ready to move forward. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to receive my weekly lessons. Remember, you don't need to be perfect. It's enough to be realistic. See you in the next video. Be strong, be steadfast. This is the ultimate stoic wisdom.